2 columns. Oh yeah.
Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be talking about the setup that I was using at Hill 559's Operation Frostbite. And as you can see here, I've got my Tokyo Marui recoil and shock set up the same way that I used it at the Milsim. And what I've got here is the Phantom gear, as you can see right there, and right here. The Phantom Gear Specter DR replica. Now, if you're not familiar with this type of sight, I'll be really honest, it's one of my favorite types of sights. It is kind of heavy. It weighs almost 3 pounds. It's a big piece of metal, plus there's a lot of glass in it, but it's a really good optic if you are playing at an outdoor field. So this sight is very different than the majority of sights out there because it has a 1 times magnification setup to a 4 times magnification, and all you have to do is flip this bar back and forth. Now, the reason that I'm doing this video is because I did just sell this on eBay and it will be shipping out tomorrow, and I wanted to get this video out to you guys before I got rid of the product, downgrading all of the airsoft stuff that I currently have as I'm moving, as you could probably check out in my other channel and also in a separate video that I've made recently. The awesome thing about this is, especially at a Milsim West, a Milsim or an airsoft event where it's outdoor and it's a rather large range, if you're not going to be engaging targets at that distance, it's great to use this to be able to identify targets at much further range. As you can see, when I'm on it, I can rotate between 1 to 4 times magnifications rather easily. So if I get up on the rifle, all I have to do, and I can switch back and forth, toggling between 1 times magnification and 4 times magnification. And the reticle on the inside is very similar to that of a reticle of an Acog. And I really do enjoy the reticle, especially if this were a real steel style weapon. I do enjoy this reticle a lot. It allows for a lot of different variations and ranges, obviously in a real steel platform, but the sight gives a very wide window of opportunity to see different potential threats and potential targets. As well, the telescoping factor of the 4 times magnification helps you to be able to identify people much further out, whereas a 1 times red dot or a 3 times flip to side wouldn't. Now, I don't want to dog on the 3 times flip to side. I do enjoy those a lot. It's just, honestly, for me, the flip to side sights, there's a lot going on, and I'm not a huge fan of them. Because that sight that flips back and forth with the EOtech has to sit really far forward, especially if you're using a iron sight on there as well. The EOtech has to just about sit at the front of your weapon, and then when you get up on it, it's like you're trying to look through your red dot, and the red dot is at the front of your gun, and I don't really like that. Plus, it makes the front of your gun a lot more front heavy, whereas this gun, it's primarily rear heavy because of this massive sight on here, and the front is very lightweight and I can corner very easily with it. But we're talking about this sight. Honestly, it's a really good sight. If you can find one on eBay, if you can find one, I highly suggest that you get them. You are going to have to get used to the weight of it. It is a lot heavier than an EOtech or an Aimpoint or even an Acog. It's a lot heavier, but it does, on the left side, have a 10 different positions, 11 different positions of the lit reticle, which on this one it's a red reticle, And then on top you've got 3 different positions for iron sights. So it does have iron sights on top, and you can adjust them. As you can see on here, there's just the screws. Mine fell off, but never really going to use them in the airsoft situation. You can have them at a 45 degree on either side, so if you are a left-handed shooter, you can have that sight straight there, so when you pull it up, you don't have to be choked in on the sight itself. You can just look through the iron sight on the top. Same goes if you are a right-handed shooter. They are right there as well, and you can move those back and forth. Or if you just want to get up on the rifle, they are really high, so if you do have to take that into consideration with that. Also, it does have the 35mm threads on the inside here so that you will be able to attach a honeycomb. I had a honeycomb on here and it fell off at Milsom West Strike on the Steps. But it's a really awesome sight. Really, you can do a lot with it, honestly. And for this reason, it's probably one of my most favorite sights to run on a weapon, because in airsoft, really, you don't use sights that much. So the sight isn't really that big of a factor. The cool factor of it is the reason that people run it, but I need to carry my binos on me, which are an extra 2 pounds and something that has to sit in a separate pouch, or that I have to get to. And as you can see here, I'm going to roll a little bit of footage of me actually utilizing the scoped factor in game. Bravo, go ahead and bring it down a little bit to pull security. Over. Hey. Possible contacts.
1 o'clock.
Possible contacts, 1 o'clock, 300 yards.
David.
2 possible contacts breaking 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Over.
You got a map? You got a map? I know.
Let's see how many we got. What direction is this?
That is south.
South. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 on that hill. 1, 2, 3.
I think there's 3 or 4.
I see 3 here. And so as you can see, it was actually really effective, because at 300 yards, I was able to identify people as civilians so that we wouldn't begin engaging them in a tactical situation. I really do enjoy the Phantom Gear Specter, or the Elcan Specter DR. It's a really awesome sight. It's really heavy, and you do have to get used to the interesting style of zeroing it in with the cross thread screws and then this large screw here. I definitely will be picking one up, a real steel platform, when I can find a little bit of money, because these things are really expensive to put on a real steel weapon. But they're really awesome. If you can find one, I highly suggest it. And this has been another Airsoft Dude 1 production. I'm out.